Merlin, I wouldn't be convinced that he was going to come back at all. But I still wouldn't worry about Merlin flying off, as I don't particularly like him anyway. So if he wants to do, he's more than welcome to. But to be fair to him, he's doing a good job at the present moment in time. It really is tricky for the birds to get around in this particular environment. And as he's going around like this, he's having to really dig deep. And I'm also having to try and create the right angle so that I can get Merlin to come across and land quite gently on the end of my arm. And just so that you're all aware, down at the bottom, I do concentrate up at this top end. The reason for that is because it's the highest point. It's a better release point for the bird as he's already higher up in the first place. If I release him from lower down, he has to do an awful lot more work. But at least you do get the opportunity of having him fly out low over the top of your heads. And he really is doing okay. But I should mention that because each bird is different, they have their own likes and their own dislikes. And so it's up to myself and to Chris to get to know and understand the birds. But with Merlin, as I've mentioned, he doesn't like long things in particular. Well, there's a character that works here. Has he just crashed? He's just crashed, hasn't he?
Oh, poor bird.
Now then. Right, now I can see Merlin now. Right, just keep going. I don't want you just yet. Just keep going. So he got that completely wrong. The wind is sort of swapping and swirling a little bit, but anyways, now out in some much clearer air, and he should be able to come back over to me quite easily. In fact, just got to turn to try and slow himself down. But as I was mentioning, there's a character that works here called the Dragon Slayer. Merlin is petrified of that man. Has any of you met him today out on the East Front, the Dragon Slayer? Not many of you. Well, he's a nice guy, but not as far as Merlin is concerned. He just associates him with that long lance that he carries. And it's so bad that Merlin recognises Dragon Slayer out of costume at 500 yards. He knows exactly who he is. So he can't have Dragon Slayer anywhere near the birds of prey flying arena, or indeed anywhere near where we keep our birds. But Merlin, he's struggling somewhat now. He's just sort of crashed out down here. Now, the wind is actually not a bad wind, but it keeps swapping. When it's coming straight up here, that's absolutely fine. When it's coming across this way, it's not so good, and it's just catching him out a little bit. So, what I'd like you to do, guys, I don't know if you're actually listening to me, but hello, everybody. Oh, thank you. He's coming across really low there, and the problem that you've got is when he's got to make his way through a little gap, well, he just can't because of the size of him. But I can hear him, he's panting really quite heavily. I'm so tempted, in fact I'm going to just throw him off one more time and just see if I can get one nice lap around out of him. I will be nice to him, so it's not about how much time the birds get out in the sky. What it's all about is rewarding them for any positive behaviour. So if we can get him just to come over here, a bit of a wobble, nearly took out the gentleman in the red and grey jacket at the end there, but we've managed to get away with that quite safely. So how about a big round of applause for Merlin too, everybody, our young bald eagle. So yeah, another 3 years before he'll have a complete white head and a complete white tail, and that's how long it takes for an eagle of that size to become an adult, which will suggest a long lifespan. Honestly, these big eagles, they could go on and live till they're 40, maybe 50 years of age, half a century. And last bird we're going to have a look at in the show is the largest bird of prey that lives wild here in the UK. Whoa. It's a white-tailed sea eagle. Yet on the show at 2:30, we're going to fly an eagle over double the weight of the one you're about to see. Generally, Stan comes up here in one direct line, and he's certainly seems to be working his way up here. So don't watch me, watch Stanley. He's coming in right over the top of you all here. He's beautiful. At 10 years of age, we got him from Almaty State Zoo in Kazakhstan, so all the birds are indeed born in captivity. And with Stan, well, he tends to do a great job for me, but yesterday he just disappeared. About this point on the show, he was like, can't really be bothered with all of this flying around. And occasionally these kind of things happen. I really want him to work his way off and to get out on the other side of the mound. It's the best place for him to fly. If he'll go down that river road, turn round to the left, what will happen as the wind, which is blowing and hitting the other side of the mound, it's going to push him up, and it's going to mean that flying then becomes so easy. He's going to just turn into an enormous big glider. So he wants to go around to the left, Stanley. But so when he comes over here now, he won't like it that I've got my hands held up in the air. So quite a few of the birds that we've got, we've worked them to hand signals, because you've got to try and remember that all Stan really wants to do is land on my arm so that he can get himself something to eat. And this is why occasionally Stan has a pop at me. He really does strike out with both of his feet and sort of hits me on the gloved hand, and all he's trying to do is to bully me. He's trying to get me to empty the contents of my bag, and it's sort of fairly normal, because out in the wild, if he might come across something like a common buzzard that's caught a rabbit, or a peregrine falcon that's perhaps caught a pigeon. Because of his sheer size, and to give you an idea, he's about 4 times the size of a common buzzard, and this is a male bird. A female, which is normal with the vast majority of birds of prey, is about 1/3 the size again. Absolutely massive. But yeah, he's about 4 times the size of a common buzzard, and just because of that, he can just steal whatever he wishes. But they are a fish eagle, and they'll take things like ducks and small geese, rabbits and hares. They'll eat dead things, so they'll scavenge exactly like a vulture will from time to time. It's fairly normal. Our particular bird, Stan, he's not really interested in doing anything like that at all. He tends to just be quite happy getting all of his food from us here. And to see him circling around like this, he's doing a good job, but he's having to work so very, very hard. Once he catches the wind, then he really does turn into such an amazing glider, and that's what he wants to be trying to achieve at the moment. But as soon as I put my hand in the bag for him, he's already on his way in. I'm just pushing him a little bit because I want him to go off and try and come back in over the top of the castle. So I'm just going to give him a little bit of a breather. You might be able to see, even from down at the bottom, that his beak is open a little bit. That's just with rowing at those huge wings. That's what that's all about. But because he's very fit, it won't take him too long to recover at all. And to give you an idea, you know, when Stan's been circling the arena but flapping his wings all the time when he's doing it, well, it's a bit like you running around the arena. So that will give you an idea